Hey peeps, DJMK here, and welcome to another video. Today, we are finally going to be covering the finale that we basically all been waiting for, I've been mentioning since the beginning of this channel, which is Cinderella Phenomenon. Now, in the last episode, we've been trying several, at least for Cinderella Phenomenon at least, in the last episode, we have been attempting several times to get a happy ending to this story of Waltz and his family, but obviously it just hasn't been working out too well so far. I've been trying, this time I tried to give myself an extra challenge of doing a blind walkthrough where I only had 3 clues based on Otome Dreamworld's WordPress website, which is to be confident, be trusting. There is one time you will not have to listen to Waltz, though, and more importantly, be the most selfless person you can be in this route. But so far in the last few attempts, we just haven't been able to figure out what went wrong. And I feel like the second half of the route is where I've been going wrong personally. So we're going to finish off where we left off, we saved last time, and then whatever it takes this time, no matter how long it takes, whether it takes me an hour, whether it takes me 3 hours, I don't care anymore. I want to get the good ending in this. So I've got the walkthrough already in front of me, but I haven't looked at what the actual steps were. So I'm going to talk through each one of them after I complete this route, and then we can figure out easily where we went wrong. Though I feel like it's pretty obvious. I think it's around the second half of the story that's where I went wrong. So, I feel like it was around the 7th or 8th chapter, that's where I screwed up. That's my theory anyway. Also, I forgot to mention as well, we also finally have a release date for, excuse me. We also have a release date for the Cinderella Phenomenon fan disc sequel, Evermore, which is coming out November 27th, with early access happening November 20th. I will try and see if I can jump onto the early access bandwagon. The promo is pretty good. I might go on the 27th like everybody else has. So it's very critical that I actually finish this game as soon as possible, so that way I could just go straight to that story when it comes. But already it looks so much better. It looks cleaner. Apparently there's going to be animation in it as well. The menus look a lot more dynamic, and the one thing I do hope with Evermore is a bit more divergence in route, kind of like Kusoge. Because there's one thing that Kusoge did pretty well, was that it actually diversified the routes that you could possibly get in the game, which was the multiple endings. So I hope that Evermore gives us just a bit more flexibility in the routes, because here, if you made even one mistake, you end up in a bad ending. So I hope there's a little bit more divergence in Evermore, kind of like Dramatical Murder Reconnect, but I'm not holding my breath on it completely as well, so it's a mixed bag here. So, but either way, I'm excited to see what Daisuke is going to come up with for the next game, and yeah, that's pretty much it. So without further ado, here is, excuse me, here is Waltz's route. So I think I left off around chapter 7, so I believe around here. Yeah, it was around here. So we're gonna pick up where we left off here, which was around the middle of the quarantine, believe it or not, when I did this. So that's interesting that it took that long. But yeah, we'll continue where we left off, and let's see what happens. Alright. I have not read in so long. I mean, I did play that, Bad Men VN, and then earlier, the Blind Griffin VN, which I will play again, so because like that game looks really good. Also, I got another recommendation for a game, which is basically like a spiritual successor to Katawa Shoujo, that I got recommended, by one of my people in my Japanese group, which I'm going to play on this channel at some point. I played a little bit by myself, but I wanted to play one for the channel. So, my favorite character is Katya, by the way. So that's the one I really liked. But anyway, yeah. So I'm gonna play. So I'm gonna play through that on the channel at some point as well, because I'm getting heavily requested to play that on the channel. So I'm gonna do that at some point. But yeah, without further ado, we are going to finish up the Cinderella Phenomenon. Whatever it takes, we are going to get a happy ending for Waltz and Lucette. And I think I'm bonding to Lucette and Waltz the most out of all of them, interestingly enough, because they have the most history, followed by Fritz, and then Braun. But yeah, let's get going. We walked to the march-in hand, momentarily forgetting all the bad things that have transpired. And yes, I still can't find my microphone, so I'm sorry if my sound still sounds terrible. Chapter 8, Hope. So yeah, Chapter 8, I feel like this is where I messed up the most, personally. It has been almost 3 weeks since Mother's revival, and yet I've not heard or seen anything of her. What are you planning to do, Mother? Parfait told me before that the Tenebrarum had already chosen me as its next bearer. Does that have anything to do with why Mother is still in hiding? It is impossible not to feel the weight of my new responsibility. I've not yet fully accepted that I am now the bearer, but I cannot run from this responsibility for long. The Tenebrarum bearer's duty is to work alongside Parfait to balance the light and darkness of the kingdom. That balance only just begun mending before Mother's sudden revival. For nights I've been wondering if there's some other way to stop Mother without fighting her. A small part of me hopes that perhaps Mother can still change. I think about that, and then I remember how Mother so heartlessly killed Father as soon as she had been revived. She was sleeping for 4 years, but that did not change her mind. Even now, I can only assume that she still means to make this kingdom suffer. It feels as if my heart is twisting itself into a knot. I gasp when a bright spark fizzles to life in my hands. I clench and unclench my hands, taking deep breaths to calm myself. Ever since I've started trying to work with magic, it's been activating on its own. Whenever I feel any sort of deep emotion, some type of electricity sparks in my hands. It is all I can do to try and keep my emotions in check. The last thing I want is to accidentally burn down the march-in, or hurt anyone inside of it. Delora and Waltz have both agreed to start teaching me how to use my magic. For the last few days, the forest near the march-in has served as the training grounds. Parfait constantly cloaks the march-in in powerful magic to keep our presence hidden from Mother and the other witches. It allows us to use our magic without worrying about being tracked. Still, Parfait's constant spells considerably weakened her. Delora and Waltz tried to convince her not to cast it in the first place, but Parfait insisted that we remain as close to the Tenebrarum as possible, rather than move somewhere safer. She told us all that I need to be close to the Tenebrarum as its bearer. As far as we know, the crystal is still unmoved in the palace. I know that the chance I'll face Mother in a battle of magic is extremely high. Although I fear the outcome, I have no choice but to consider the possibility. Time is running out, and I do not have the luxury of waiting much longer. I must decide what I must do. They all believe that I'm the only one who could stand up to Mother, even with so little practice. Last night I told Parfait that I'll make a decision the next day, and that I would tell everyone what I decided. Now it's time for that decision. When I step into the reception room, everyone is already there waiting for me. I catch Waltz's eyes first. He cocks his head ever so slightly, his lips stretching into a warm smile. I nod at him and smile back. I take a deep breath before facing everyone. This is the first time I've spoken properly with everyone since her father's death. Before I tell you my decision, I want to apologize for everything that I've done, and for everything that's happened. Mother is back because I was a coward. My father died because I was weak. Upset. Ophelia is the first to respond. It wasn't your fault, dear. I stared down at the girl with my hands clenched. I tried to will my anger away, but only managed a few deep, stilling breaths before I looked up again. I brought Mother back because I feared that disobedience would have them kill my father. Yet in the end, it was still The image of father's smiling face flashes through my mind. I clear my throat. I promised him I would protect Angiel, and that's what I intend to do. I will do everything I can to protect our kingdom. Spoken like a true queen. The words are shocking, even more so when they come out of Laura's mouth. Queen? Why do you seem surprised, Princess? You know you're next in line for the throne. I haven't even thought about being the next ruler. I'm not even sure I have the right qualities. Can I really do this? I wanted to see you become queen. Protect our kingdom. I can't let father down. I have to do this for his sake, but the kingdom becomes for the crown. I will take the crown if I can win it back. Okay. So this is the part that I heavily debated, because this is the part that you can mess up the most here. So I was debating, well, I'm an English major, or was an English major in college. I've since graduated, now I'm doing theology. But like because the wording is very different, and because like this game is very much on subtlety, it's very hard. Because either way, Lucette needs help with people, but the way she's approaching it is different. So she's very much right now trying to bear responsibility, but then the chapter 7 had a moment with Waltz where she had to realize that she can't do everything on her own. She needs to reach out. But the big question is, how does she reach out? Because they sound exactly the same, but when you look at it more deeply, it's very different. So I will have to rely on all of you means she's basically passing some of the power off to them. So it's really they have the free will of choosing. Versus I will need your help means she's still taking the brunt of the responsibility herself, but just acknowledging that she needs help with other people. Ultimately, she's like, if anything goes wrong, I'm taking the brunt of it. So, I think this is where I first messed up, which is right here. I think the initial playthrough I said I will have to rely on all of you because I wanted to I put everybody in equal terms. But I think in some ways she's still, I mean, because of the way she was reacting about like, I'm a queen, wait, the king comes for the crown, etc. So I think, even though she wants to say I will have to rely on all of you, I think deep down, I think she still feels like she has to take the brunt of it. So I think she's gonna say I will need your help, despite all of that. So I'm gonna say that. Let's see what happens. I'm still weak, but that will not stop me from training every day until we face Mother. I hope I'm not asking for too much, but I hope you will all fight with me to protect our kingdom together. Actually, I think I picked the right decision here. Let's keep going. You don't even need to ask us that, Lucette. Because that's saying that we'll help you with any way that we can. I second that. We'll all be here for you. I smile at everyone gathered. So this is what it feels to be trusted and needed. It feels good. Yes! I picked the right thing! Yes! I think this is the mistake I made, was that part there. Ah! Okay, here we go. It will be hard, but we will stop Mother. Together, we might stand a chance against her. Hilda is strong, but not invulnerable. Parfait looks at me, eyebrows furrowed. You know what we must do to stop Hilda, Princess? I feel a tinge of pain in my chest, but force my eyes to hold Parfait's gaze. I look into Parfait's eyes with determination. I do. Later that same day, I resumed my training with Waltz while Parfait and Delora tried to come up with a plan. Jurian and Garland returned to town to listen for any information regarding Mother and Alcaster, or any happenings in the palace. I forced myself to focus only on learning how to use my magic as fast as I can. Today, Waltz is continuing his lessons on barriers. He has been teaching me the same spells for the past week, emphasizing my protection. Let's review the types of barriers I've been trying to teach you. Do you remember them? One shields you from harm while the other deflects the spell back at the caster. Powerful spells cannot be deflected. That's why you need to be able to tell which spells can be deflected and which cannot. Otherwise, you'll end up using the wrong barrier. A single mistake can cost you your life. So, how do I know what barrier I must use? Allow me to demonstrate. You've seen me cast my spells many times, so you should be able to tell the difference between them. But, for now, let's think of it as another game. Just take a guess. Who knows? You might actually give me the right answer. I'll give you a nice little treat if you do. A treat? You always did like treating me in town. It's special this time. I wonder if it's just like those other sweets he treated me to before. Because yeah, sweets were not a thing in the palace, unfortunately. Waltz slits, snaps his fingers, and a glimmering but faint purple light appears around him. It's faded at first, but slowly becomes brighter as he moves his hands. Usually the effects of Waltz's magic are immediate, but this spell is taking longer to cast. Is it stronger magic? I remember Waltz telling me before that it takes a lot of energy to cast a strong barrier. Does that apply to offensive spells as well? Question time. What pirate barrier should you use? I think this is a powerful spell, so I think I said shield. The slow casting time makes it seem like a powerful spell, and powerful spells cannot be deflected, so sure this is like the right answer. Is that your final answer? My confidence is thwarted by sudden indecision. You said, in the midst of a battle, you won't have the luxury of time to think about your decision. I look at him and nod. It should be the right answer. That is correct. And prepare your shield. I never shielded myself in the powerful spell. What if a barrier breaks? Trust in yourself, you said. I do as instructed and stretch out my hands to cast a barrier to shield myself. Here I go. My hands shake as Waltz's spell collides in the barrier. I put my feet to hold myself upright. Such a strong spell. While the light dissipates, I look up hesitantly before smiling triumphantly when I see that the barrier is still in one piece. I did it! Well done, little star. I eye the barrier again. My heart sinks and I notice new cracks in its surface. My barrier! Don't fret, Lucette. Even the strongest barrier will obtain cracks after being hit by a powerful spell. That's when you set up your next barrier. Your opponent will usually make the mistake of assuming you have the same shield up and attack you with weaker spell to try to break it. You can be ready for them with a new barrier. I nod. I'm impressed at how fast a learner you are. I have a good teacher. I think you're just a good student. So, when will you teach me offensive spells? I don't think you need to learn those quite yet. The witches we're up against will probably stick to offense, which means protecting yourself will be even more vital than trying to attack them. I told everyone that I would fight, and I meant it. If I need to hurt someone to save someone, I will do it. I look him in the eyes, my gaze unwavering. I still need to learn, even if it is just one offensive spell, Waltz. What if I need to help you? I cannot do that to just conjuring barriers. I will not lose anyone else this time, Waltz. I look up at Waltz, and my heart aches at the sight of his frown. I do not want to lose you either. That's why I need to be as strong as possible. I want to be able to protect you. Waltz makes his way over to me in just a few strides and pulls me into his arms. I will do what I can to save you from a repeat of what happened last time, you said. But you won't lose me. Waltz pulls back and looks at me, his expression warm and gentle. Here's your treat, as promised. Uh-huh? Waltz bends down to glaze his lips over mine in a soft kiss. It's a short-lived kiss, but it's still enough to make me breathless. You're all red, Lucette. That was your special treat? Disappointed? I quickly pressed my cheek to his chest to keep him from seeing my tinted cheeks. No! Let's call it a day. I need to rest. Teach me an offensive spell first. Lucette, The Empire says it's morning and it'll be dark soon. You already know that overusing your magic will take a toll on your body, especially when you're still getting accustomed to it. I shake my head at Waltz, determined. Using my magic before did wear me out, but now I can handle more. What kind of bear would I be if I couldn't handle this much? Please? I'm begging you, Waltz. He eventually sighs and rubs the back of his neck. Okay. Just one spell. Thank you. He steps away from me. What I will teach you is a lightning spell. It's not for the faint-hearted. It will inflict excruciating pain on your enemies and potentially paralyze them. I nod as Waltz continues his explanation. I try my best to conjure the electricity. I've only managed sparks at the end of the day. I collapse onto my bed. I feel the exhaustion lying over me like a blanket. I can barely move my arms to trying that lightning spell over and over again. I need to learn that spell as soon as possible. I yawn and then close my eyes. Sleep comes easy that night. Lucette. A voice. Come back to me, my sweet princess. No. You have no choice in this, little one. You will come back to me, whether you like it or not. I'll be waiting for you. I sit up in my bed, my heart pounding loudly in my chest and in my ears. A dream? I wipe unexpected beads of sweat from my forehead as I call myself with steady breaths. No. I'll never go back to you, Mother. I end up waking up later than usual, a result of my practicing yesterday. When I step inside the reception room, I see Jurian and Garland speaking with Parfait, Delora, and Waltz. There is a definite solemnity to the air. They all turn to look at me as I approach. Did something happen? Princess, the palace has made an announcement today. They're issuing a higher bounty on your head for murder and treason. What? It's very strange, the fact I haven't even bothered to look for you since that day. Something must have happened that forced him to suddenly act. Delora soon gathers everyone in the room to discuss Jurian and Garland's discovery. The only one who's not here is Anise, who's in town buying ingredients for the merchants' meals. But Lucette didn't kill anyone. Isn't there some way to convince them? Alcaster's in power now and the people favor him. Not everyone remembers who I am. They're once again frightened of me. No one would listen to you. They haven't seen how much you changed. If only they could understand your circumstances, then they might be more sympathetic. I look at Emmeline in surprise and find myself smiling at her. Thank you for your kind words. I turn to everyone once again and frown. Once again, I'm the one putting everyone in danger. I'm so sorry. If any one of them gets hurt, I'll never forgive myself. Waltz takes my hand and squeezes it. A simple gesture does wonders to calm my nerves. Oh, hold on. I don't have chat up yet. I'm so sorry. I mean to have chat before I start this stuff, but I keep forgetting to do that. Okay, there we go. Alright. Sorry about that. Ah! No. Don't be too hard on yourself, Lucette. We've told you already. We want to help you. We're in this together. He's right. I'm not sure if there's much Rod, Emmeline, or I could do. We will definitely support you until the end. Before, I might have cringed at her words, but now Ophelia has nothing to gain from pretending. Mother is right. We're a family, and we will not abandon you. Ophelia and Emmeline are both smiling at me warmly. Even Rod seems to have a ghost of a smile on his face. Thank you. I apologize for bringing this up, Karma, but is it possible to ask for reinforcements from Brigantia? Brigantia? Brigantia is one of our neighboring kingdoms. We've never had close ties, mostly because Brigantia's king can stay away from our personal and political affairs. He's always refused to engage in any sort of violent affairs. We all look at Karma, who stands there looking sullen. After a few moments, he lets out an exasperated sigh. You want me to ask the Kingdom of Brigantia for help? I remember mentioning before that he was part of a noble family, but I was not expecting to be from Brigantia. What is he doing here? And how could he possibly ask for help from the king? The king does not participate in battles or skirmishes. It seems unlikely that he will provide support. He wouldn't provide assistance? Not even his own son would ask him? Son? You mean... Carmer crosses his arms and sighs. Well, I suppose there's no use hiding it anymore. Yes, I'm son of King Clemente of Brigantia. Judging by the sound quiet in the room, it seems Parfait, Delora, Waltz, and the Knights were the only ones that knew. You're the Lost Prince? The Lost Prince? Gennaro told me that King Clemente's oldest son had just disappeared just a year ago. There were... circumstances. My family never knew that I had the fairy tale curse. I was forced to leave my kingdom so that I could come here to break it. He came to Angiel to break his curse? His eyes turned slowly to me, but then he focuses once more on the conversation. To answer your question, though, no. I do not believe your father would send help. He hasn't heard from me since almost a year ago, and most likely think of me as some kind of imposter once I showed up at the kingdom's doorstep. Even then, he would have too many questions. He would never get the help we were seeking in time. It seems we can't rely on them for help, then. We all turned to stare at Anise. The fine Lady Anise suddenly appeared in the margin. What magic is this? I actually just came back. I'm sorry for starting you all, but I found this, and I had to bring it back. Her smile fades as she pulls out a flyer for us to see. An announcement? From the look of it, 4 days from now, Castor will make a speech about the changes that are to happen in Angiel. Changes? Doesn't sound very promising. It means bad news, and it may be worthwhile to take a look. This might give us some insight into what's happening at the palace. Hilda is still in hiding, but it seems very likely that she could be involved in all this somehow. They could be plotting something special for that day. Godwin and I could go to the event then, but make sure not to stand out. I'm coming too. Who's said? I need to know what's happening. I can't hide forever, Waltz. I will go, and I don't need anyone's permission to do so. Well, I guess you're technically the next queen.